Fox Wednesday, the Married by America premiere event continues when Matt and Jennifer get their chance to find their perfect mate with your help.
I'm a catch. At least I think so.
They'll say I do to who you tell them to.
Help me out, America.
The Married by America premiere continues at 9, 8 Central, Fox Wednesday. On American Idol, Wildcard Week begins. The judges have chosen a select few for a second chance at stardom.
The wildcard group could be the best in this competition.
Then you'll decide who joins the top finalists.
You think you've seen the best? You haven't seen anything yet.
The American Idol Wildcard Edition, followed by a new 24, starting at 8 Fox Tuesday.
The 10 o'clock news is next, right here on Fox Rochester.
During Clover's Best Buy sale, you'll get huge savings. Make no payments and pay no interest on financing for 12 full months. Get a complete pool package for only $888, including pool, liner, filter, and ladder. Plus installation on any size pool, only $99. Choose from 10 luxury spas, priced as low as $1588, but no more than $39.99. 5 big spas, priced under $29.99. Smart shoppers will get their Best Buy on direct vent and vent-free gas fireplaces and gas logs. All are clearance priced below wholesale cost during the Best Buy sale, only at Clover.
Wouldn't a pizza be great right now? One with a stuffed crust, 100% cheddar added to the outer crust, and toasted to a golden cheddar crunch. That's not just any pizza. It's the new Stuffed Crust Gold from Pizza Hut. And yes, it would be great right now. Fox Rochester wants to give you and your friends a pizza party featuring the new Stuffed Crust Gold from Pizza Hut. Visit foxrochester.com. Sign up, and you might be chowing down soon. Yeah.
I'm Melanie Barnes. Tonight, Mayor Johnson outlines the state of the city and makes plans for its future. Plus, a yogurt company makes a statement on a war with Iraq, and Wegmans won't accept it.
And I'm Morris Jones. The volunteer human shields in Iraq now want to return to their own countries. We'll explain why.
Good evening, I'm Melanie Barnes. The city of Rochester has a bright future despite a multi-million-dollar budget gap. That's according to Mayor Bill Johnson in his State of the City address tonight. Reporter Tim Cassidy was there and joins us now with the details. Tim?
Well, Melanie, even though there is a $38.1 million budget gap looming, the mayor didn't spend too much time discussing ways to reduce that gap. Rather, he spoke in great length about some of the projects currently underway. Mayor Johnson gave his State of the City address at the Hochstein School in front of a large crowd. His focus was on projects which he believes will create a better Rochester. Projects like the Fast Ferry, which he hopes will promote tourism, the new plans to make High Falls the entertainment center of the city, and the Rhinos Soccer Stadium, where construction is set to begin this summer. However, the mayor did mention some tough choices will have to be made when it comes to tackling the budget shortfall, and cuts once again will have to be made.
Had to deal with tough challenges throughout my administration. We will confront the present crisis with the same equanimity and resolve. Next year's budget, to be presented to City Council in 10 weeks, will make those tough choices in the most equitable and sensitive manner possible. However, it is still too early to speculate what those choices will entail.
Now, last year, when the city was confronted with an almost $25 million shortfall, the mayor was forced to raise property taxes, eliminate some city jobs, and cut services. What cuts will be made for the fiscal year starting July 1st remain to be seen. Melanie?
All right, thank you, Tim. Another city leader could soon be facing some tough choices of his own. A choice of where he'll be working next. Interim school superintendent Manuel Rivera is in the final stages of interviewing for a job in Amherst, Massachusetts. He is in Amherst this week meeting with district officials about the superintendent opening. Rivera has also applied to stay on full-time as superintendent here in Rochester. He was tapped to lead the troubled district after the school board ousted former superintendent Clifford Janey. The school district Rivera currently leads kept students at home today because of the nasty weather. It was bright, but it was bitter cold all day here in Rochester. Slick roads made for slow going on the morning commute. The mercury didn't even make it out of the single digits in most areas. To see what's ahead, here's meteorologist Megan Glaros with our first look at the weather.
Thanks, Melanie. It certainly was bitterly cold today. In fact, so cold that we tied a record low temperature this morning of -1, and our high temperature was a mere 8 degrees. That's 30 degrees below average, but it looks like some changes are on the horizon for us. 8 degrees today, jumping to 35 degrees tomorrow, so we will see a warm-up, although still below average. Looks like we have some snow in that forecast as well. We'll tell you more in the full forecast. Melanie, stay warm. Back to you.
Thanks, Megan. It's a move that will save Monroe County thousands of dollars and could decrease the price of a plane ticket. Reporter Kelly Badger shows us how the airport is becoming more energy efficient.
The airport now uses two 750-kilowatt generators that use hot water to heat the airport in the winter and cool it in the summer. The generators are 80 to 90% efficient.
Of all the fuel that goes into the units, 80% of the fuel is used at the airport in the form of electricity or hot water heating for the building.
The entire project cost more than $4 million. The New York State Energy and Research Development Authority provided $900,000 toward the project. Money well spent, according to the airport director.
This totals about $500,000 a year in savings off from our utility bill. Our utility bill at the airport runs about $1.2 million a year.
As an additional cost-saving measure, lights that used to be on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week are now on timers. This saves the county an additional 10 to 15% of the airport's utility bill. The savings are passed along to the airlines.
Every time we can reduce our cost to $100,000 in the terminal, we reduce our direct cost to the airlines at $1.89 per square foot in rent.
And to the customers.
It reduces the electric demand on the grid so that peak rates for power in the summer are lower for consumers.
Kelly Badger, the 10 o'clock news.
The airport has created a website for businesses and organizations that want to learn more. It's rocenergysavings.com. In a world of yellow and orange alerts, how much should your kids know about being ready in case of an emergency? The first Monday of every month, we feature Safety First Mondays here on the 10 o'clock news. This month, we focus on emergency preparedness. As Dana Roselli tells us, you're never too young to learn some valuable lessons.
If disaster strikes, you'll want to be ready. That's why the Office of Emergency Preparedness is teaching people of all ages. In Scottsville, this 5th grade class was well informed already.
It's great that they're paying attention to this information and that they're receiving it and they're able to, give that knowledge back.
Disasters include hurricanes, floods, ice storms, hazardous materials accidents, and fires. In Rochester, the ice storm was one disaster that left many without power. And now with the recent high alert, many are making preparation a priority. Kids were raising their hands left and right answering questions about emergency preparations. Some were a little off, but for the most part, right on.
Kids today definitely, I think, are generally more aware than maybe, say kids 20 or 30 years ago, just because by the nature of the fact that, parents work a lot more, things like that. Kids are just a little more worldly than they used to be.
Of course, it's important that kids learn about disaster preparation in school, but the key to completing that lesson is bringing the information home to your family. So we followed home student Omar Kinney. He took time to look around the house and put together a disaster supply kit.
Because if I wasn't prepared for something, then something might go wrong, or I might be able to not do something.
I was kind of surprised that he had his flashlights, his batteries, and all his candles and everything ready.
I mostly looked for a source of light and heat, so I found candles and some flashlights. And I also found a first aid kit for if anybody got hurt or anything.
We should all learn from Omar. He knows the importance of being prepared, and his parents say although they are pretty well prepared, they did need a little push.
It sort of pushes it to the forefront so that you are more, inclined to take care of it rather than let it go.
Dana Roselli, the 10 o'clock news.
If you would like more information on keeping your family safe, contact the Office of Emergency Preparedness. You can reach the local office at 442-4669. The long process of witness testimony continues in the Eric Parsons trial. Parsons is the Seneca County man accused of setting his home on fire, killing his wife Cheryl and their 4 kids. It's expected to take a couple of weeks to get through all the witnesses. After a week-long selection process, a jury has been picked in the James Comfort trial. The Grease man is accused of raping and sexually assaulting several women he met on the internet. The trial should start sometime tomorrow.
Coming up, an unlikely place for a political statement on a container of yogurt, and it's a statement Wegmans won't be putting on its shelf.
And I'm Morris Jones. Next on News Central, global obesity on the rise, how to crack down, and booking flights on the internet, why a 3-letter code could ruin your trip.
The 10 o'clock news, brought to you by Value City Furniture.
Jerry's dentist is in pain.
You know, we have the highest suicide rate of any profession. Is that why it's so hard to get an appointment?
Tonight at 11 on Fox Rochester.
Today, finding a job can be challenging. And the first step in getting to work is getting to an interview. Thanks, Phil. Good luck. I'm Bill Nojay. As volunteer chairman of RTS, we want to make sure we're doing all we can to make your life easier. That's why we've started Jobs First. If you have an interview for a new job, we'll send you a bus pass so you can get to the interview and back home again free. Because finding a job is hard enough. Getting there shouldn't be.
From power to refinement, it's the best Accord yet. Auto Week magazine.
A wealth of practical riches. The New York Times.
Inside this handsome new structure is a cabin that caters to the driver, motor trend.
It just doesn't get any better than this. Car and Driver.
We've always received our fair share of accolades. The key is never being satisfied with them.
The 03 Accord. What a gem. USA Today.
Do you know us? Thousands of people call us every year for help. Every day we hand people checks to help pay for their injuries. Just about every auto insurance company knows our name and how hard we fight to get you your money. Why should you know our name? Because you should know the name of the law firm that really knows car wrecks before you get in one. We're Alexander and Catalano. Call 1-800-LAW-1333, the heavy hitters. Now you know us before you need us.
Struck down without warning and left to die.
He's in neuroleptic shock.
Now they must catch Toolbox Attacker.
We have to find the people who hurt you.
Or this ship doesn't have a friend. On the next Star Trek Voyager.
Tonight at midnight on Fox Rochester.
A wealth of information after the weekend arrest of a suspected 9/11 mastermind. I'm Morris Jones. Here's the latest from News Central. The arrest of Khalid Sheikh Mohammed is being hailed tonight as a major victory. He's Al-Qaeda's #3 man and linked to every major attack since 1993. Here's what we know. Authorities find in his hideout a treasure trove of information, including the names of Al-Qaeda operatives. At this point, Mohammed, considered Al-Qaeda's operations boss, is undergoing a second day of interrogations by the CIA. And the orange terror alert for much of February was apparently over attacks that he was planning. The raid that netted Khalid Sheikh Mohammed also yielded an intelligence windfall. As David Ensor reports, U.S. authorities are racing against time to take advantage of the information they've turned up.
Among the information seized at the house where the Al-Qaeda operations chief was captured, U.S. sources tell CNN, is a treasure trove on Al-Qaeda, including the names of suspected Al-Qaeda operatives, some of them believed to be in cities in the United States. Sources say Washington, D.C. is among the cities the information suggests may contain Al-Qaeda personnel. U.S. officials have said they have evidence Khalid Sheikh Mohammed was trying recently to organize another attack against the United States. U.S. intelligence officials are declining comment on the information gleaned during the raid, but other U.S. sources say FBI agents are speeding to try to track down the suspected operatives named in it, hoping to stop any imminent attack.
We are obviously always mindful of the need to be vigilant, to move as quickly as possible to frustrate anything that's ongoing in terms of potential terrorist threats.
Mohammed, meantime, is under intense interrogation at an undisclosed location by the U.S. Central Intelligence Agency. Officials say all appropriate pressure will be used in an effort to stop any attacks the new prisoner may know of.
The standard for any type of interrogation of somebody in American custody is to be humane and to follow all international laws and accords dealing with this type of subject. That is precisely what has been happening and exactly what will happen.
Although the White House expressed warm gratitude to Pakistan's President Musharraf, some U.S. officials privately expressed dismay that Pakistani officials made news of the seizure public so quickly. U.S. officials would have liked more time to try to roll up al-Qaeda cells before the word got to them that their operations chief was in enemy hands.
It's quite possible that people may panic and try and push something forward because they're worried he may talk. Most of the al-Qaeda leadership have eventually talked. The question is really time. Time is of the essence.
Time is of the essence, and though U.S. officials express confidence Khalid Sheikh Mohammed can be convinced to cooperate with his interrogators, they are in a hurry. David Ensor, CNN, Washington.
As hot as it gets tonight between the U.S. and North Korea. Over the weekend, 4 armed North Korean fighter jets intercepted a U.S. reconnaissance plane over the Sea of Japan. Then, one of the Korean jets used its radar indicating it might attack. The incident lasted 20 minutes and occurred over international waters. This, in addition to Saturday's declaration by the North that nuclear war could break out at any moment. Now to the problem of Iraq. The country now claiming it's destroyed missiles, sliced casting chambers, unearthed bombs, and sent scientists to talk with UN weapons inspectors. All this in desperate efforts to prove its disarming before a critical UN report at the end of the week. Iraqi ambassador to the UN, Mohammed al-Douri, says Iraq is making progress in its relationship with the world body.
Tomorrow also they will have another meeting, and it seems that it's very promising on that question, because this is the most difficult question we have in our relationship with the United Nations. It seems that there is a progress, and the concrete results will be sent to the UNMOVIC very soon, hopefully.
Keep in mind that Iraq says their destruction program will come to a grinding halt if the U.S. plans to go to war. And what's the newest trend when it comes to rallying against a conflict with Iraq? Naked protests, the latest occurring in Sydney, Australia, where some 1,000 women bared all. They say they're against the Australian government's strong support for America's hardline stance. What if disaster strikes? Are you ready? According to a new survey, the majority of American families are not. Elaine Kiana reports on a new campaign to help you survive disaster.
You've heard the advice from Homeland Security officials. Draw up a plan of what to do in a worst-case scenario. But a new survey paid for by Duracell and conducted by Harris Interactive found nearly 2/3 of Americans do not have an emergency plan in place, and 38% say being prepared for a disaster is not a personal priority.
I don't have any plans. Hey, if it's my time, it's my time.
Even in cities already targeted by terrorists like Washington, D.C., that lack of concern persists.
No, I just go with the flow. I don't think there's anything you can really do.
Only 37% of households here said they had a plan. In New York City, that number dropped to 22%. The best prepared cities, those in earthquake-prone California. In Los Angeles, 48% of households said they had some notion of what to do in a disaster. 43% of households in San Francisco said they were ready.
At Red Cross chapters like this one, officials are kicking off a campaign called Together We Prepare. They're giving away free safety guides like this one and hoping people get the message that they need to put together disaster kits that include key items like a 3-day supply of food and water.
And we recommend that people have an emergency supplies kit in their home and in their vehicle and in their office.
Other items, first aid kits, prescription medications, and extra clothing. Although it's preparing for the unknown, officials say those steps could help ensure your health and safety if disaster strikes near you. In Washington, Elaine Quijano, News Central.
And is talk of war driving down the economy? Spending levels have been the main indicator for economists predicting the recovery will gain momentum this year. But a sudden drop-off in auto sales is calling that into question. Kathleen Hayes has more.
A blizzard that blanketed the East Coast, high anxiety over the threat of war with Iraq, a big spike up in oil and gas prices. Is all this behind the big drop in auto sales in February, the second monthly decline in a row? Or is the drop in auto sales just a temporary bump in the road?
We had the biggest snowstorm on the East Coast since 1996, and I think that the war jitters are really reaching a peak right now here in late February, early March. So I think it's hard to read too much into these negative numbers today.
We've got the economy losing momentum in March and April in our latest forecast, mainly because we think there's a real good chance that we're going to go to war during that time period.
Automakers aren't waiting around to see when consumers start buying cars again. Both General Motors and Ford, the nation's #1 and #2 car makers, said they will now have to cut back on production as the war threat, rising joblessness, and higher energy prices hurt consumer sentiment. If consumers don't pick up the pace again soon, economists worry that manufacturing will slow down again and take the economy with it.
There is weakness in consumer spending, and manufacturers, quite frankly, are not willing to hold inventories. So if spending doesn't pick up, yeah, it most likely will, at least, hopefully it'll just slow and not decline, but it is possible.
Optimists are betting the issue of war will be resolved soon, oil prices will tumble, and the consumer will stay on track. Skeptics point out that rising energy prices take a bite out of growth. And the longer they stay high, the bigger and more damaging that bite can get. Kathleen Hayes, CNN Financial News, New York.
We'll have more on rising energy prices and higher gas prices later on. You won't be getting a front row seat at the D.C. area sniper trial. That story as we cover America tonight. A Virginia judge ruling there will be no television cameras in the courtroom for the trial of John Lee Malvo. However, journalists and victims' families will be allowed to watch the trial on closed-circuit TV. Malvo and John Muhammad are accused of killing 13 people in 5 states and the District of Columbia. Jury selection is underway in the trial of a man accused of the sniper killing of a Buffalo, New York doctor. Police say James Kopp shot abortion doctor Barnett Slepian through a window in his kitchen. Kopp is an anti-abortion activist. More than 600 prospective jurors are being called for the case. An accused murderer, Robert Blake, is back in a California courtroom. It was the 4th day of his pretrial hearing. It's being held to determine if there's enough evidence for Blake to stand trial for the murder of his wife. Bonnie Lee Bakley was shot outside a California restaurant in 2001. A bold new report by 2 UN agencies says that slashing your sugar intake could save your life. The report says people should restrict sugar consumption to just 10% of their day's calories. This will help curb obesity-related diseases like diabetes. Now, this is the first time a worldwide recommendation on a specific sugar limit has been made. Too many parents of preemies are putting their babies to sleep on their stomachs. This despite repeated warnings that stomach sleeping puts a child at risk of sudden infant death syndrome. Boston University researchers believe the warning is being ignored because preemies often sleep on their stomachs in hospitals. But remember, they get full-time attention there. And if you've ever tried to install a child safety seat, you know how hard it can be. A new study says the instruction manuals are filled with legal jargon and written at a 10th grade level. But experts say nearly a quarter of the American adults read at a 5th grade level. So, like with most gadget instructions adults have trouble with, find a 5th grader to tell you how the car seat works. More local news straight ahead, and then they're infamous for their bad teeth, and now British dentists could be prosecuted for trying to correct the problem. The reason why later on. And are you feeling peeved every time you hit the gas pump these days? Well, some states feel your pain and are trying to help. But first, The Point and Libya's congressional friends.
Remember Libya, the nation that shielded Abu Nudal, mastermind of the 1984 hijacking of the Achille Lauro cruise ship, in which a wheelchair-bound American was killed? That engineered the machine gun attacks on the Rome and Vienna airports, killing several that same year? Whose agents blew up a Berlin disco the following April, killing 2 American GIs? Whose intelligence officers blew up Pan Am Flight 103 over Scotland in 1988, killing more than 200? Well, that Libya was selected to chair the UN Human Rights Commission. On February 11th, the House of Representatives voted 402 to 6 for a resolution condemning Libya's selection. Voting against the resolution were Missouri's William Clay, California's Mike Honda and Barbara Lee, Ohio's Dennis Kucinich, and West Virginian Nick Rahal, all Democrats, and Texan Ron Paul, a Republican. 8 others who voted present rather than condemn Libya's selection are listed on our website. These congressmen may not be anti-American, but they are certainly anti-human rights. That's the point. Go to NewsCentral.tv and tell us what you think. I'm Mark Hyman.
Pound 31 is a free call on your Verizon wireless phone for tips to the 10 o'clock news.
We're talking with Bob Barefoot, author of Death by Diet and the Calcium Factor. Is everyone calcium deficient?
By the time the average American's 35, he has more calcium going out of his body and into the body, and that's when it starts. By the time he's 60, about 98% are totally calcium deficient. The real key with calcium is it does not want to absorb in the human body. But you know, there is a substance out there where you get 100% absorption. And America hasn't heard about oral calcium. You just can't believe the miracle of calcium because you're a calcium critter. You're more calcium in your body than all the other minerals put together.
What is a good form of calcium?
We say, do what the Okinawans are doing. They're getting 100%, and we see with just 3 little capsules a day, absolutely miraculous.
You think that's one of the best
results.
forms of calcium to consume?
It's the best absorbable. You not only get the calcium, magnesium, and 70 other trace metals, you get marine microbes. Coral calcium will become the nutrient of the 21st century, I guarantee you.
Call the number on that screen. This is important for your health.
There's a place that I travel when I want to roam, and nobody knows it but me. The roads don't go there, and the signs stay home, and nobody knows it but me. It's far, far away, and way, way afar. It's over the moon and the sea. And wherever you're going, that's wherever you are. And nobody knows it but me. The powerful Chevy Tahoe, like a rock.
Hey, Ron, you're a Molson Canadian drinker. Now I see you switched to one-man bachelorette party lager. What gives?
Joke's on you, Gary. They're the same.
Molson made a new beer.
No, they made new twin labels. Lots of them. Check out Ted over there.
Wow.
Yeah. Everyone loves the great taste of Molson Canadian. And now your Molson says even more about you.
Hey, bartender, give me I'm getting freaky with Ron's girlfriend and he doesn't even know about it lager.
Sorry. We're all out.
Let your Molson do the talking.
Do cable TV prices make you cry? Get DirecTV from the Dish Store. Enjoy better TV and more value for just $31.99 per month. Get a 2-room DirecTV system for free. Call the Dish Store, your source for satellite TV.
During Clover's Best Buy sale, you'll get huge savings, make no payments, and pay no interest on financing for 12 full months. Choose from 10 luxury spas, priced as low as $15.88, but no more than $39.99. 5 big spas are priced under $29.99. A complete pool package is only $8.88, including pool, liner, filter, and ladder. Plus installation on any size pool, only $99. Smart shoppers will get their Best Buys on pool tables from $8.99, bars from $3.88, bar stools from $19. Huge savings on foosball and air hockey, only at Clover.
Introducing Arby's new Italian beef and provolone. Oven-roasted beef marinated in Italian seasonings. Real Italian, real good.
What are you eating today?
As many as 500 prospective jurors will face questions this week as the James Kopp trial begins in Buffalo. Kopp faces murder charges in the shooting death of abortion provider Dr. Barnett Slepian. He admits shooting Slepian, but says he was only trying to injure Slepian, not kill him. Prospective jurors will fill out questionnaires before being interviewed by lawyers for both sides. Jury selection is expected to take several days. A man arrested in Syracuse for sending millions to Iraq has been denied bail. The judge says Ayman Jarwan, who ran a Syracuse charity called Help the Needy, is a flight risk. Prosecutors say the charity didn't have government approval to send humanitarian aid to Iraq. 3 other men have been charged in the case. A church group outing ended in tragedy yesterday afternoon in Genesee County. 14-year-old Courtney Jones of York died while snow tubing at a local campground. Witnesses say the girl's tube veered into a utility pole near the bottom of the hill. Emergency crews rushed her to Strong Hospital, but she died early this morning. A local grocery chain is turning up its nose to anti-war antics. Wegmans says it will ban Meadow Sweet yogurt from its shelves if anti-war messages surround the containers. Stephanie Simo is following the story. She joins us with more. Stephanie?
Well, Melanie, Meadow Sweet yogurt is made about 80 miles away from here. It's a small, family-owned and operated business. The owners say they're against war. They thought displaying their message would be harmless. But their major customer, Wegmans, turned sour to the idea. When Barbara Smith decided to take a stand on war efforts, she never imagined it would cost her.
We would be hurt. I mean, we'd have to rearrange and do something different. Yeah, Wegmans is a good part of our income. It's about half of our income at this point.
Meadow Sweet Yogurt was in jeopardy of losing half its income Friday after Wegmans called the Smiths to come take their product back. The grocery chain says its policy states members of the public cannot solicit funds or support or distribute written materials for any organization, activity, or cause anywhere on Wegmans property.
We decided to let them cut the label off because we needed to have yogurt on the shelf.
Barbara says she's not trying to infringe her views on Meadow Sweet customers. She just wants them to be informed.
They will be on there until the March, and very likely there will be another March in April and another one in May. This is not going to go away. So we anticipate that we will keep on doing this as long as there are marches and rallies to advertise.
Now, Barbara says smaller food stores welcome the labels, and she's received lots of calls in favor of them. Wegmans maintains its decision has nothing to do with the message, and Meadow Sweet Yogurt will be on its shelves, just without those anti-war labels. Melanie?
Thanks, Stephanie. Senator Chuck Schumer says the FDA is not doing enough to stop deaths linked to a popular herb supplement. He's co-sponsoring legislation to ban the supplement Ephedra. The FDA last week pushed for warning labels to go on Ephedra. Ephedra was linked to the death of Baltimore Oriole and former Red Wing Steve Beckler, as well as dozens of other deaths by heart attack or stroke.
Coming up, got milk? These kids do, and it's all over their faces. Tonight, why it was okay for them to play with their food.
The 10 o'clock news brought to you by Summit Federal Credit Union.
The Summit Federal Credit Union, in association with Roland Williams Youth Lifeline Foundation, has brought the financial literacy program to our community. Designed specifically for our youth, the program focuses on teaching kids about financial responsibility and the important role it plays in the success of their future.
Can anybody tell me how you would determine your net worth?
You would determine your net worth by assets or what you own minus your debt, which is how much you owe.
The Financial Literacy Program, teaching our children how to be financially responsible in preparing for their future.
Is this your town, home to great neighbors and very hard water? You need CLR.
When we first moved into our house, they actually enclosed it in a welcome basket. We thought we were going to have to replace most of the shower heads in the house. We put CLR in a bowl and put the bowl up to the shower head, and it took away most of the gunk. The shower head afterwards was very, very strong. They recommended that CLR could be used for a lot of our cleaning of our bathrooms from the rust stains. I use it on my humidifier. I removed the filter and actually dunked it into CLR, and after dunking it in CLR, all the calcium deposit was removed immediately, and it ran really, really well after that.
Stucco, concrete, shower heads, or coffee pots. Wherever there's buildup, CLR can help.
I love my neighborhood. They recommend a lot of good products. I'm very grateful to the neighbors for recommending CLR.
CLR makes getting rid of the tough stuff easy.
Everybody in our neighborhood now receives CLR in their welcome baskets.
CLR is available at Wegmans, Vic Stores, Tops Markets, PNC, Eckerd Drug, Rite Aid, Ace, Surefine, CVS, True Value, Value Home Centers, and Kmart.
Hey, Rochester, Ontario Mall Antiques is growing. We've added more space. We've added more dealers. And now, with over 500 dealers, we're bigger and better than ever. Thanks to you, Ontario Mall Antiques is now the largest antique mall in New York State. From furniture to jewelry, we have something for everyone. Located just 2 minutes south off Thruway Exit 44 on Route 332 in Farmington. We're open 10 to 6 every day, so come see what you've been missing at Ontario Mall Antiques. Right now is a frigid 4 degrees. Humidity is 57%. The winds are calm for the time being, but we'll see them increase throughout the evening, throwing that wind chill to sub-zero levels. Pressure is currently holding steady at 30.16 inches. Now, as for precipitation tonight, looking clear for the next few hours, although we will see increasing cloud cover start to filter into the Rochester area, and then an expectation of snowfall after midnight tonight. Now, we don't think we'll see any accumulation for us this evening, just a light dusting. We'll see snow showers lasting throughout the day tomorrow as well. During the daylight hours, no accumulation expected, but into the nighttime, the system that you see here traveling across northern Illinois and Indiana, pushing into Ohio in the past few hours, that's going to continue tracking east. That'll reach us by Tuesday evening, and although it will start to dissipate, we still could pick up 1 to 2 inches of accumulation into Tuesday evening. There's also a low-pressure system brewing down near Oklahoma that's going to begin tracking our way. Could reach Rochester by Wednesday and bring us a fairly significant snow event, so we'll keep our eyes on that system. For the time being, this high pressure in control, that means partly cloudy skies. As that starts to track eastward, this chance for precipitation heads to us after midnight this evening, lasting throughout the day, and we'll see the heavier snowfall filter in after nightfall tomorrow evening. And again, about 1 to 2 inches expected as this low pressure system thankfully tracks just north of the area, but we'll still pick up probably 1 to 2 inches from that low. And as we head into tonight, we need to worry about those temperatures. 2 degrees in Rochester, northern Caledonia, 3 degrees as you head towards Medina and Batavia, about 1. And as we head into tomorrow, we will see a huge increase, but temperatures will still be below that seasonal average. 35 in Rochester, 36 down towards northern Caledonia, and 34 in Medina and Batavia. And here's what to expect this evening. We will see increasing cloudiness throughout the night, a temperature right around 2 degrees. If you head farther south, you might see a warm up of 1 to 2 degrees. We'll see that snow moving in late after midnight tonight with little accumulation expected this evening. Winds will increase between 5 to 10 miles an hour, and as that happens, we are going to see that wind chill drop to sub-zero levels. As for tomorrow, pretty good warm-up. We'll see that snow throughout the day. Nothing significant until the evening when we'll start to see a possibility of 1 to 2 inches as that low-pressure system tracks towards the area, and we'll see winds out of the west between 10 to 15 miles an hour. Here's what to expect for the next 7 days. Looks like we'll start to see a warm-up. For Tuesday, a high of 35 degrees. By Wednesday, a high of 38. And that's when that main area of precipitation reaches us down near Oklahoma. Right now, it's going to continue pressing our way. Could bring us a mix of rain and snow. Looks like temperatures are going to stay relatively moderate and start to drop off again into the beginning of next week. Melanie, back to you.
Thanks, Megan. Good news, Rochester tonight features some cold-blooded zoo attractions. Kids came in from the cold to learn all about frogs and other reptiles at the Seneca Park Zoo. They learned what animals eat, how they eat, and were even introduced to some animals they've never seen before.
This guy is named after the tiger. He is a tiger salamander. You guys say salamander?
Salamander. This run through the winter at the zoo. Sports is coming up, including the latest ranking for SU, plus scores from Blue Cross Arena and the Section 5 basketball finals.
The 10 o'clock news brought to you by Bob Evans.
Life's a little slower out here, but not at breakfast time.
Bus is going to be here in 10 minutes.
Did you do your homework? Now there's Bob Evans Express.
Where's the other shoe?
That fresh Bob Evans taste, ready in 60 seconds.
You guys, here's the sausage.
My kids love it. With this new Bob Evans Express, we can enjoy a hot breakfast.
We gotta go.
Even on busy days.
Bob Evans down on the farm.
Hear that? It's the sound of the explosive deal you can get during Time Warner Cable's Mega Movie Marathon. If you don't have cable, this is your chance to get over 200 channels of digital cable for just $39.95 a month for 3 months. Plus, get 32 premium movie channels free. 6 HBO, 9 Showtime, Stars, Encore, Cinemax, the Movie Channel, thousands of movies from the latest to the greatest, free for 3 months. It's Time Warner's Mega Movie Marathon. Call to order now, 1-800-756-7956.
Low, extra low payments at Webster Ford. 03 Focus LX Sedan, $159 per month. 03 Taurus LX, $209 per month. 03 Windstar, $279 per month. Folks, you need to hurry. Don't miss this. We offer you a great deal. At Webster Ford, we treat you like family.
Today, finding a job can be challenging. And the first step in getting to work is getting to an interview. Thanks, Bill. Good luck. I'm Bill Nojay. As volunteer chairman of RTS, we want to make sure we're doing all we can to make your life easier. That's why we've started Jobs First. If you have an interview for a new job, we'll send you a bus pass so you can get to the interview and back home again free. Because finding a job is hard enough. Getting there shouldn't be.
For several years, healthcare workers have been warning about the dangers of a nursing shortage across the U.S. In response, nursing programs have been working harder to attract more students to fill the growing vacancies. But there's a twist. In many states, the nurses of tomorrow are on the waiting list to get into school, and the shortage continues.
Patients and the safety is going right down.
That means that within the next 10 to 15 years, literally 2/3 of our workforce could retire and will retire.
Nursing schools are trying to fill the shortage by attracting a wider range of students. But even with increased enrollments, they're still not meeting the demand. Add 5 more states to the list of those suffering a medical crisis due to malpractice awards. The American Medical Association today putting North Carolina, Arkansas, Connecticut, Illinois, Kentucky, and Missouri on the list. They also released information which they say shows large jury awards to malpractice victims and the resulting insurance increases that jeopardize access to health care. Also rising at lightning speed, the price of gas. In California, a gallon of it will now cost you $2. In other parts of the country, it's not quite that much. It could soon be very soon, though. Now the question is, are individual gas stations gouging consumers at the pump? Kitty Pilgrim reports.
In Michigan, these inspectors conduct routine surveys of gas stations, checking if pumps are working and gas is pure. Now they've been asked by the governor to check and report any price gouging. Michigan got tough for a reason. Some Michigan gas stations raised gas prices right after the September 11th attack for no reason at all. The state took action against 48 gas stations, imposing $30,000 fines and making some pay $100,000 in refunds to customers. Nationally, gas prices have been climbing. The price of regular at self-serve stations nationwide up on the average of 19 cents a gallon in the last month alone, and 54 cents in the last year. That's in part because oil prices are high, breaking through $40 a barrel last week. War worry is driving the price of crude oil higher in trading. But the American Automobile Association says it sees no real reason for price jumps of 30 or 40 cents all at once, and issued a warning to the industry.
Typically, February and March is when we see some very low demand for gasoline. It's not summer driving season. This is a time when we expect to see prices at the low end. Yet we've had perhaps even a dozen states hit their all-time highs.
Consumer groups say seasonal adjustments in refining can cause price fluctuations, but they worry there is more of a problem with the entire industry.
As a result of all these mergers over the last 5 years, the top 5 oil companies now control over 40% of all U.S. oil production, over half of all the oil refinery capacity, and over 2/3 of all the retail gas stations.
Consumer groups say the customer's best defense is to do the checking themselves. Look at the price every week. If it jumps 30, 40, 50 cents, don't buy the gas. Pick up the phone and call the state attorney general or have a consumer group look into it. Kitty Pilgrim, CNN Financial News, New York.
Some of the human shields in Iraq are leaving because, get this, they're concerned for their safety and complain about being used as propaganda. MTV reported on the human shields going over to Iraq as the music network targets its demographics. Later this week, the cable channel will air a special entitled An MTV Forum with Tony Blair. Is War the Answer? The show will feature the British Prime Minister fielding questions from young people. You may recall another MTV special as the audience asked then President Clinton if he wore boxers or briefs. Maybe Tony will be asked about his smile. That's because British dentists are being warned they face criminal prosecution if they use tooth whitening treatments on their patients. The Department of Trade and Industry says the nation's most common tooth whitening procedure is illegal under European Union rules governing the supply of hydrogen peroxide bleach. And no smiles for some travelers who book airline flights on the internet and pick the wrong airport code. It happens about once a month. You expect to step off the plane in Lafayette, Louisiana. Instead, you land in Lafayette, Indiana. Similar problems happen with Grand Rapids, Michigan, and Grand Rapids, Minnesota, and Rochester, New York, and Rochester, Minnesota. And it's time for me to fly. I'm Morris Jones. And I'm Jonas Schwartz. We're talking Anna Kournikova, marriage and divorce. It's all coming up next after the break.
Welcome back, 340 horsepower. Say hello to modern technology. The new Infiniti M45. The muscle car with brains.
Renovations, installations, plumbing, kitchens and bath. Think D'Angelo's. D'Angelo's specializes in creative design ideas, expert plumbing service, and complete installation for your kitchen and bath. We realize people have different styles and different needs. That's why we take the time to create a room that is right for you. Visit our showroom with over 50 models of award-winning kitchen and bath designs, elegant bathrooms, and beautiful kitchens. By D'Angelo's, North Union Street, Spencerport. Limited only by your imagination. D'Angelo's.
Only Tim Hortons coffee lets you play roll up the rim to win. Fun to say, but why the rolling R's?
This new contest is called Roll Up the Rim to Win.
That's so fast. There's not enough R's in there. It's roll up the rim to win. Okay.
It's as fun to say as it is to play. Roll up the rim to win at Tim Hortons with 30 Buick Rendezvous, 100 Panasonic DVD theaters, $500,000 in cash prizes, Raleigh mountain bikes, and millions of food prizes. So get rolling.
Where can you experience Casino Niagara? Always a rush.
Taking a look at local sports tonight, the girls Section 5 basketball finals took center stage at Blue Cross Arena. In Class AA, Greece Athena knocked off Fairport 40-38. In Class BB, Honeoye Falls Lima takes the title, beating Pittsburgh Sutherland 56-53. It was Livonia and Nazareth in Class B. Naz wins 70-41. And in boys play, Lions face Leroy in a Class C state qualifier, a 1-point victory for Lions 55-54. How big is high school basketball this year? Take a look for yourself. This is the crowd at Saturday night's McQuaid-Marshall game. There were more than 9,000 fans watching. That huge demand is the reason behind a new ticket policy for all remaining Section 5 games at Blue Cross Arena. Tickets are now available through Ticketmaster, Ticketmaster.com, and at the box office arena. And Syracuse comes in ranked 12th in the top 25 poll. Now we throw it over to Sports Central.
Hi everyone, I'm Jonas at Sports Central. Since Bobby Knight is so good at choking, should we really be surprised his team is doing the very same thing? Texas Tech only 5-5 in their last 10 as they struggle to make the tournament. And it doesn't get any easier as the Red Raiders take on number 7 Kansas tonight. Kansas running the break. Roy Williams watching it. Nick Collison slams home the dunk, and then Kirk Heinrich will get going. Heinrich so effective from outside. Doing it again here. He hits from downtown. Jayhawks up double digits. Then it's Jeff Gray's turn to get involved. Graves taking it to the hoop, gets it to go off glass, and right now the score is 65-55 Kansas with less than 3 minutes to go. Georgetown visiting West Virginia. The Hoyas looking good. Gerald Riley knocks down one of his 5 3-pointers. Riley with a game-high 23. Hoyas up 14. But the Mountaineers make a run. Kevin Pittsnoggle slams it home. We're tied at 63. But West Virginia is down 2 in the final seconds. Drew Schifino with the 3, no good, way short. Georgetown survives in Morgantown, 69-67. You know, when the Beatles sang Money Can't Buy You Love, they should have mentioned an NHL playoff spot. Despite always having the highest payroll in the league, the New York Rangers once again looking like they might not make the postseason for the 6th straight year. The Broadway Blues taking on the hated Islanders. Things always scrappy between these two teams. No different tonight. The boys from the Island get on the board first. Dave Scatchard beats Mike Dunham from out front.
The Islanders would hang on to the lead for a while, but with under 8 minutes left, Brian Leach, he will tie it up with his 8th goal of the injury-plagued year for Leach. This game ends in a 1-1 tie. Well, today, male sports fans cried and then laughed. Basically, we went through the whole gamut of emotions. No, we didn't watch Terms of Endearment. Instead, we learned a little bit more about Anna Kournikova. Like she was married. That's the part where we cried. Then quickly got divorced. That's the part where we laughed. This info coming from Red Wings star Sergei Fedorov, who confirmed the long-standing rumor that he was indeed married to the sexy tennis star for a short period of time. In case you don't read the Inquirer, I will tell you Anna is rumored to be dating Enrique Iglesias. We understand will always be her hero baby. Now, we know you stay up nights worrying about this one, but now you can rest easy. The Iditarod is finally restarting. The most famous dog sled race in the world had been postponed because of a lack of snow. They moved the location to Fairbanks, Alaska, began the race again this morning. And while we can all agree that most baseball players have a big head, Richie Sexson literally has a big head, and it caused an injury. The Brewers star unbelievably strained his neck when he tried to pull on a Milwaukee hat that was too small for his noggin. Sexson actually missing an inter-squad game because of the injury. Well, my bosses always tell me that the sports segment has to appeal to women. Since I have enough trouble appealing to the women I date and I buy them the finest Happy Meal money can get, we figured the best way to get the job done was to show a shirtless Tom Cruise in Top Gun for this week's Hollywood Hits.
Son, your ego is writing checks your body can't cash.
Emmitt Smith will not be a member of the 2003 Dallas Cowboy football team.
He was a good man. Still is a good man.
No, I have not thought about retirement. The elite.
I am dangerous.
I'm Charlotte Blackwood.
I'm Maverick.
Maverick?
The Maverick run continues.
Hollywood, you're looking good. I feel the need for speed. That was stupid. I know better than that. The stink of it was, he screwed up.
Taking a shot. Fire! Ford! Tipped in!
By West.
Anytime we can work in a Kenny Loggins song, we feel we've done our job. That'll do it for sports. More news after the break.
Quality summer camp and summer activities for Rochester families. Fox Rochester and Genesee Valley Parent Magazine present the Camp and Summer Activity Fair, Sunday 11 to 6 at the Mall at Grease Ridge Center.
Once again, Raymore & Flanagan leads the way in the world of furniture, combining incredible value with astounding prices. Like this compact velvety finished Lazy Boy recliner, available in crimson, green, or beige, just $2.99. Or this plush overstuffed casual sofa, available in blue velvet, textured beige, or green velvet, now just $3.99. Or this cherry finished 4-piece bedroom by Broyhill, queen-sized bed, dresser, mirror, and nightstand, all for just $9.99. All with guaranteed delivery in 3 days or less. Raymore & Flanagan, improving your world through better furniture.
What's new at your Pontiac dealer? Everything. And now get $500 auto show bonus cash on any new 2003 model Pontiac Grand Am, Grand Prix, and Aztec. Residency restrictions apply.
Visit your Rochester area Pontiac dealer today.
I thought dial-up was a good deal, but with all the busy signals and disconnects and our inability to get on the internet, what's the point of having dial-up? That's when we decided to get Roadrunner. There's never a busy signal. It's always on. It's changed the way we use the internet. It's changed the way we use our computer. My kids are able to use it for school. It's just a great tool for getting things done. I'm Jim Moore. I live in Rochester, and Roadrunner's changed the way I use the internet.
We're talking with Bob Barefoot, author of Death by Diet
And the calcium factor, is everyone calcium deficient?
By the time the average American's 35, he has more calcium going out of his body and into the body, and that's when it starts. By the time he's 60, about 98% are totally calcium deficient. The real key with calcium is it does not want to absorb in the human body. But you know, there is a substance out there where you get 100% absorption. And America hasn't heard about oral calcium. You just can't believe the miracle of calcium because you're a calcium critter. You're more calcium in your body than all the other minerals put together.
What is a good form of calcium?
We say, do what the Okinawans are doing. They're getting 100%, and we see with just 3 little capsules a day, absolutely miraculous.
You think that's one of the best
results.
forms of calcium to consume?
It's the best absorbable. You not only get the calcium, magnesium, and 70 other trace metals, you get marine microbes. Coral calcium will become the nutrient of the 21st century, I guarantee you.
Call the number on that screen. This is important for your health.
On American Idol, Wildcard Week begins. The judges have chosen a select few for a second chance at stardom.
The wildcard group could be the best in this competition.
Then you'll decide who joins the top finalists.
You think you've seen the best? You haven't seen anything yet.
American Idol.
Tuesday at 8 on Fox Rochester. Sponsored by Alfred State.
Now let's take another look at stories making headlines today. Rochester Mayor Bill Johnson delivered his State of the City address tonight. Johnson said despite tough economic times, he is optimistic about the future of our city. The mayor also pushed his plan for a metro government. Jury selection began today in the murder trial of James Kopp. As many as 500 people may be interviewed as potential jurors. Kopp faces charges in connection with the sniper slaying of abortion provider Dr. Barnett Slepian. A Western New York family that makes yogurt has slipped an anti-war message onto its containers. Now Wegmans won't be selling that yogurt at its Ithaca store. Wegmans says it's not taking any stance on the war. It has a policy against companies pushing any organization or cause.
Everyone, here's a recap of what to expect tomorrow. A high temperature right around 35 degrees. That will be a breath of fresh air after today's record-breaking cold. Now we'll see snow throughout the day, but the evening we'll see a possible accumulation. As for the next 7 days, looks like tomorrow will be another fairly chilly one. Wednesday, we have a possibility of seeing a significant snow event. Into Thursday, some partly cloudy skies, and then it looks like for the rest of the week, we have a chance of seeing some snow. Melanie, back to you.
Thanks, Megan. Now here's some of what we're working on for tomorrow's 10 o'clock news. A jury has been selected in the James Comfort trial. Tomorrow, they hear the case against the accused internet predator. What's the best way to teach math? Some 100 city teachers and administrators look at the numbers tomorrow, and a group of elementary school students. We'll admit our last story tonight is a little cheesy. Actually, it's also creamy and milky. Dairy products were all over the Strong Museum this morning to celebrate 3-a-day of Dairy Day. Kids were allowed to play with their food, making shapes out of cheese slices, wearing milk mustaches, and sampling some of the flavored milk.
We're targeting mothers and children today. By giving the children the chance to have a taste of yogurt, we're doing milk mustaches, and also they get to taste cheese. It shows the mothers that through having these different dairy products that the kids will get the calcium their bodies need.
Now for more, use our Fox On site, sponsored by Roadrunner. Log on to foxrochester.com and click the link 3-a-day dairy. Fun with food. What a way to end the show. Thanks for joining us tonight. We'll see you again tomorrow for the 10 o'clock news.
The 10 o'clock news brought to you by Salino and Barnes.